I am the nation. I was born on July 4th, 1776, and the Declaration of Independence is my birth certificate. The bloodlines of the world run in my veins because I offered freedom to the oppressed. I am many things and many people. I am the nation. I'm 200 million living souls and the ghost of millions who have lived and died for me. I'm Nathan Hale and Paul Revere. I stood at Lexington and fired the shot heard round the world. Washington, Jefferson, Patrick Henry. I'm John Paul Jones, the Green Mountain Boys, Davy Crockett. I'm Lee.
Coming to you from the DTOM Studios in the free state of Florida, sponsored by Maker's Mark Bourbon, this is Don't Tread on Merica. Bam! Let's go. Fucking go. How's everybody doing out there today? It is Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. I'm back. Made it through. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend, had a good 4th of July. I was working, however, except for Sunday. I was off, and I took my wife to the airport because she left me. She's no longer here for 2 weeks. She went to see the daughter and the grandkids up in Kentucky without me. She left me here behind. I got to work. She said, "Get to work, boy." I'm going on vacation. You're retired. You're always on vacation. Whatever. Anyway. So, guys, I need you to do me a favor. Okay? I need you to follow the show. Whatever podcast app you are listening to this on, hit that button. Hit that little subscribe, the plus, the follow, the whatever in the hell it says up there in the corner there. Hit it. And the reason I say this is because I'm so sporadic at when I do this show, okay? I work 60-plus hours a week, okay? I'm not dismissing what you guys do for work or anything like that. Maybe you work 60, maybe you work 80, I don't know. So I get the shows in when I get them in. I don't have a timeline. I try to get 2-3 shows done a week, and that's what I can do. Follow the show on social media also. Don't Tread on America on Facebook, Instagram, True Social, and TikTok, and of course on Twitter X Machine, DTOM Podcast 1776, okay? There you will get updates. Hey, there's a show up. Listen to it, you sons of bitches. Don, you're not going to get many listeners calling people sons of bitches. I got that. Anyway, guys, go to the website also, DontTreadonMerica.com. Make sure you subscribe to that too. If you have any questions, concerns, any ideas, anything you want to talk about, anything that maybe I'm missing, and you want to add to the conversation, that's fine. You can hit me up, DonQ at DontTreadonMerica.com. And right now we're going to kick it off a little bit of Damn Yankees on this Tuesday afternoon. As I am recording at about 4:20 in on Tuesday afternoon, you might be thinking, damn, you don't have to work tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm actually off, but I'm working, so I'm not off. It's going to be like a half day, though, so like 7 hours. Yeah, 7 hours is a half day, bitches. That's how I roll. Anyway, we got a good show. We're going to talk about some shit because no one's talking about anything. Listen. America, wake the hell up. This is Don't Tread on America. I am Don Q, and tonight we're going full red pill. No breaks, no apologies. The title of this episode: the Butler warning shot, Mossad's trigger, Trump's flip, and the false flag storm coming to American soil. We've been here before on this show. Remember the deep dives into Pax Judaica, the Zionist world domination plot, the long game of control through lobbies, media, finance, and intelligence networks stretching back decades? We've laid it out. AIPAC, Adelson money, the revolving door between Tel Aviv and Washington. Then we did the episodes on the assassination attempt on Trump. Butler, Pennsylvania, the golf courses, or course I should say, the patterns, the questions that still stink. Now it's all crashing together in 2026. Khamenei's dead. U.S. and Israel strikes lit the fuse in February. Iran's funeral processions are rolling right now. Millions in the streets, death to America chants, while talks limp along in Doha, and the Straits of Hormuz simmers. Mainstream media has gone quiet after this 4th of July holiday, but the theories, they're screaming. Tonight we connect every dot the gatekeepers don't want connected. The assassination attempts as a warning shot, Trump's apparent flip on Israel in the lobbies, the current lull as cover for buildup, and the very real possibility of a false flag attack on American soil. Drones, sleepers, mass casualties to drag us into a full-scale war with Iran, just like 9/11. I'm not here to dismiss any of it because it's unconfirmed. Governments hide information. Patterns don't lie. If you've listened to my Pax Judaica series, you already know the playbook. I did that back March 5th, guys. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. So we need to focus. I have me a nice big glass of whiskey, and I have something here too. And I'm not doing the commercial break, so this is a brand new container here of Alp. If you're watching this on Rumble, on DontTreadonMericaTV, they sent me some Alp Drifters, I think is what it's called. Yeah, Drifters collection, Alp Drifters. These are 12 milligrams, because I'm no pussy. That's what I do, 12 milligrams right there. That's my other one. That's the one that's open. The reason I'm showing this is because I haven't opened this one yet, so we're going to break that sucker open during the commercial break. I haven't opened it yet, so stay tuned for that one. This is a watermelon kiwi ice. So yeah, anyway, I don't know why I decided to talk about that, but I have my Alp, I have my whiskey. You get yours and get ready to rock and roll, guys. So back on the episode I did March 5th, I believe it was, Pax Judaica, we talked about things, right? The Zionist network doesn't just influence policy. This is something I talked about on that show. It shapes the battlefield before the first shot is fired. Lobbies buy access. Intelligence agencies create the narrative. And when a leader steps out of line, well, that's when the accidents start happening. And that's bringing us right into Butler. Now, there's been a lot of theories going around since Butler happened. What was that? 2 years ago, I guess now, roughly speaking. And we've never really gotten to the bottom of what happened. I mean, you could say, well, they killed the dude that was doing the shootston. And, okay, right. Just like JFK, right? Oh, it was Oswald. He did it all by himself. Well, how do we know what his motive, what was the point? Why was he there? What was going on? I have no idea. Fucking Jack Ruby killed him. I don't know. It's eerily familiar, you know? But there's so many different speculations to who, why, what, when, where, how, why, who, what was going on. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's start with the attempts themselves. What's this here? All right. July 13, 2024. Yeah, I guess it was about 2 years ago. Butler, Pennsylvania. Thomas Matthew Crooks on the roof. Secret Service failures that defy belief. Then you had the golf course attempt. And in 2026, we've had more plots disrupted. FBI taking down drone and sniper teams targeting Trump events. But the conspiracy angle that refuses to die, and I'm not dismissing it, is that these weren't random lone wolves or even pure Iranian ops. Some of the sharpest voices out there, including people who were once inside the Trump's orbit, are pointing out at a Mossad or Israel-linked cutouts using the attempts as a warning shot to Trump. Stay in line, or Iran. I'm sorry, I lost my voice there for a second. Stay in line on Iran, or the next one doesn't miss. Remember Joe Kent, former Trump official? He went on record questioning the Butler investigation, called it possibly an out-of-control sting operation, with FBI undercover assets posing as hitmen in Iranian-related cases right around the same time. He didn't say Israel did it outright, but the implication hung there like smoke. Then there's Max Blumenthal. Love him or hate him, he's been hammering on this. Israeli intelligence and cutouts inside Trump's circle allegedly cooked up or amplified assassination plots, including spinning the Butler attempt as Iranian directed to push Trump into authorizing the February 28 strikes on Iran. Netanyahu himself was pushing the Iran is trying to kill Trump narrative hard. So the sources backing these angles, you had Blumenthal's reporting and interviews detailing how figures tied to pro-Israel donors, the Adelson network, were in position to shape the story. Public charges against the IRGC, assets plotting against Trump, real on paper, but the timing and the spin around Butler raise every red flag. The pattern from earlier shows that we talked about, Trump's 2016 to 2020 presidency, I'm trying to find the word there, skepticism of endless wars and American first rhetoric versus the post-attempt acceleration into direct strikes on Iran in 2026. You remember Trump's first term, and this is what he ran on, mind you, and, the first president to never start a war. We're MAGA, we're America first, we're this, we're that, no wars. And now it's not. We start wars. We don't feel American first. I don't feel American first. I mean, it was a nice show they put on for the July 4th stuff, but I mean, they kind of do that every year for the most part. So, you know what I'm saying? Is it MIGA? Make Israel great again? Or just great? Because they were never great to begin with. Anyway, was Butler the Mossad warning? A shot across the bow saying, we can reach you anywhere. Fall in line on regime change in Tehran, or was it the deep state using Iranian proxies as cover while the real handlers were closer to home? Either way, the effect was the same. Trump's stance on Israel and the lobbies appeared to harden or flip in ways that align perfectly with the war push. We've talked about this in the assassination episodes. The lobbies that bankroll both parties don't like independent operators. They like controllable ones. And when the carrot of money and the stick of accidents both get deployed, you get the current situation. So, I want to play this. Not this. Let me move you over here. I'm going to play this. No, I don't want to play that either. Move you over here. This is what I want to play. So this is Max Blumenthal on Tim Dillon's show.
fear when you go against the Israel lobby and you're that powerful. And it's a fear that I've been told Donald Trump shares. I've been told that by
that was my next question.
Several Trump insiders.
My next question is, does the President of the United States fear for his life?
Yes. Yes. I mean, obviously he fears for his life. And I was told that he feared for his life before the 2 assassination attempts, one coming within a millimeter of striking his head. I mean, let's not forget about that. I mean, I've been told, yes, that Israel is a major source of concern for Trump. I mean, think about it. What would happen
this is
if the
our
president
ally.
if he suspended
confused.
If he suspended arms to a country that carries out assassinations all across the globe, that specializes in assassinations, that has an entire wing of its intelligence services that conducts assassinations, including with household goods like pagers, would you not be scared? So yes, Trump is scared. And what I learned from this source, who is a Trump insider, someone who talks to people in the Oval Office, people close to Trump, is that during one of Netanyahu's many visits to the U.S. this year, some figures in his retinue, Israeli agents, placed electronic devices on emergency response Secret Service vehicles. The Secret Service found them and they reported this to the White House. You know, these would be emergency response vehicles that would respond to an incident potentially involving the president. In 2019, 3 former high-ranking U.S. officials from the Trump administration told Politico that listening devices were found around the White House and at sensitive locations across Washington targeting President Trump. They wanted to listen to his calls and communications, and they were planted by Israel.
So, yeah, that's an interesting thing. Now, something I wanted to touch on, too, when he mentioned about the pagers, the beepers. Now, you remember, what was it, last year, whenever they, Israeli intelligence, Mossad, whoever it was, issued these beepers to Hezbollah leaders and people in that arena, and they exploded. You remember that story where they were killing essentially some of the leaders of Hezbollah through these pagers, right? And then people are starting to link that because I think the same company that made those pagers also was a company that made the microphone that some people are speculating is what took out Charlie Kirk. That's a show for another day. We're not going to get into that. So, but it's interesting. On one of those visits where Netanyahu comes to the White House to visit Trump and get his paycheck, he hands Trump a golden pager. Now, I'm sure people on the right and within the White House and on that side of things took it as a big ha ha ha. Oh, he's getting a golden pager because of the pager situation when they took out some of these leaders in Hezbollah, blah, blah, blah. But what if it was a warning to Trump? Because this was before the situation that's going on now that started back in February. This was last year. What if that was a warning? Remember Butler, motherfucker? Here's a pager for you. You see where I'm going with this? Then Trump, 8 years ago, on his policies towards AIPAC and these, not that he had any hatred for Israel back in his first term, but he didn't agree with the lobbies and AIPAC and that type of situation. And he was probably more of a hands-off approach to loving Israel, just like every other president, Republican or Democrat before him. But now it's like switched. And I guess we're not going to war just yet, but you understand what's been happening since February. We didn't deal with this under Trump the first time, but here we are. What was the flip? And then, there's also just the plain theory of, let's I don't know that I'm jumping ahead here. Maybe I am, but there was a theory initially when Trump was shot that it was Trump's people that did this, not to kill him, but to put him over the top and win the race. And I was very skeptical of that theory just for the fact that I feel like that's a dangerous game to play. You know, not that I'm thinking that they give a shit about killing innocent bystanders. I don't think that's the problem here. They obviously killed a couple. I don't think that's their worry, but, you know, God forbid you're off by, you know, this much and you kill the guy that you're just supposed to be scaring and pretend. And it's like, oh, well, what if they were blanks and he cut himself and he had ketchup on his hand? And, okay, 2 people still died. So I don't know that you can use that as a reason. I like the theory more along the lines of either this was a Mossad attempted hit, they missed him on purpose to do what they're doing, or it was just some random dude up there taking pop shots, got, you know, lucky to not kill the man, and they killed him, and then the narrative shifted using these situations, Butler, golf course, so on and so forth, as, oh, it's Iran. Because I'm sure if Iran was going to assassinate the president, they would hire some fucking 19-year-old kid to do it, right? I mean, that's what I would probably do, is get some random fucking freak show kid to try and take out the president. That makes absolutely zero sense. But whatever. So, with that being said, guys, let's get to our first commercial break, because I can't wait to try these motherfuckers right here. Okay. So, hang tight. First commercial break, right here. So, folks, before we go deeper into the funeral psyop and the coming storm, let's take care of a little bit of business. Now, do you want clean focus while we unpack this global chess game? You need to go to Alp Nicotine Pouches, the sponsor that gets it. And boy, do they get it, because they give it. All right, I think I got that sucker open. No smoke, no hassle, just pure nicotine in flavors that actually taste good. I can smell this. You can't smell it. I haven't even opened it yet, and I can smell it. I can smell it. Guys, go to outpouch.com/DTOM at checkout for 20% off your first order. That's outpouches.com/DTOM for the discount. Support the show like this that refuses to play the game. All right, here we go. This is watermelon kiwi ice. You can taste the watermelon. I can feel the ice. I'm down. Now, here's the question. How does it taste with whiskey? It's perfect, because I'm drinking watermelon whiskey. I'm joking. Just whiskey, but it's good. All right, guys. Check them out. There's 4 other flavors. I don't know what they are, so sue me. And then you have your classics. You got your winter chill, your winter green, your what's this one? Refreshing chill, classic. They got all sorts of shit. Go to the website, guys. Check it out. We'll be right back. 1 second. Hang tight. All right, we're back. Khomeini is dead. I don't know if you knew that. He was taken out back in February, July, March, April, May, June. So 4+ months ago. Funeral was this weekend. They're happening right now. 4 months. Anyway, massive crowds, Iran marching the coffin through the holy sites in Iraq. Regime messaging of continuity, revenge, and defiance. Meanwhile, indirect talks with the U.S. drag on over nukes and the Straits of Hormuz. Media coverage has cooled since the July 4th has kicked off. Almost like someone hit the pause button. And this is what brought me to this episode. It's the 7th of July. I don't watch the news religiously. I'm not constantly watching the news. However, I get up at about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night to get ready for work. I watch the news. I get home at whatever time I get home for maybe 30 minutes, an hour. I watch the news. Since, I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, I haven't heard shit about anything. Mainly because gas prices have stayed relatively calm. They're at that $3.60 to $3.80 range, depending on where you live. It might be higher, might be lower. So no one's really getting too pissed off. And, yeah, no one's talking about this. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? I didn't even know the fucking funeral was going on until I started diving into the show. But the conspiratorial read on this is the funeral isn't just mourning, it's weaponized theater. Some sharp observers are calling it a deliberate timing play to overshadow the America's 250th anniversary celebrations. Split-screen global narrative, U.S. parades versus millions of unbowed Iranians. It projects strengths, buys time for military upgrades during the ceasefire, and gives leverage in talks. The funny thing is I would say the majority of Americans didn't even know there was a funeral for this dude. He's been dead for 4+ months. Who holds a body that long? And no one talked about it, so no one knew, so it doesn't really go against anything that you guys were celebrating this week. And I say you guys because I had to work, so I was asleep. But remember the episode that I was talking about earlier in the show, the Pax Judaica series? This fits the long game. Create chaos, then offer the solution that advances control. Iran's own officials have warned publicly of U.S.-Israeli staging a 9/11 style false flag to blame on Tehran and escalate the war. Social media exploded with exactly that theory the moment strikes began. Israel will hit American soil, blame Iran, and lock us into full war. This kind of goes back to the Butler thing. Let's just say for shits and giggles that Israel had nothing to do with the attempted assassination on Trump and Butler. Let's say it was just some random kid that did what he did. Then Israel, Netanyahu, then used that as juice to try and get Trump involved.
These people who chant death to America, try to assassinate President Trump twice, killed 241 of your Marines in Beirut, killed and injured thousands of American soldiers in Afghanistan and Iraq, try to bomb a restaurant in Washington, D.C., chant death to America, burn the American flag. Do you want these people to have nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them to your cities? Of course not.
Yeah.
So we're defending ourselves, but we're also defending the world.
I want to talk about the nuclear threat. I want to talk about President Trump. You just said Iran tried to assassinate President Trump twice. Do you have intel that the assassination attempts on President Trump were directly from Iran?
Through proxies, yes. Through their intel, yes. They want to kill him. Look, he's enemy number one. He's a decisive leader. He never took the path that others took to try to bargain with them in a way that is weak, giving them basically a pathway to enrich uranium, which means a pathway to the bomb, padding it with billions and billions of dollars. He took up this fake agreement and basically tore it up. He killed Qasem Soleimani. He made it very clear, including now, you cannot have a nuclear weapon, which means you cannot enrich. He's been very forceful. So for them, he's enemy number one.
Yeah.
Look, they also tried to kill me, but I'm his junior partner.
When did
they
you
understand that President Trump is a great threat to Iran's plans to weaponize nuclear weapons and use them.
When did you tell President Trump you were going to launch these strikes?
Look, I've been in constant contact with President Trump. We've known each other for many years. And obviously, we informed our American friends and President Trump, our great friend, ahead of time. No, we did. He knew about it, of course.
So, I just had a thought. Back to Butler. And I focused on the part where if Israel was involved in that. Okay, let's go back to that assumption, that theory, that was a warning shot. Get in line on this, that, or the other thing, or we won't miss next time. Well, Trump wasn't president when that happened. So what if it was Israel involved in that shooting, but under the guise of it was a two-folded situation. What I mean by that is, number one, get him elected. Because once that, not that Kamala was getting a shit ton of support. I don't think she would have won had that not happened anyway. However, that kind of sealed the deal for Trump. I think that's fair to say that after that happened, the support for him skyrocketed. Also, get him elected using these means, but also send a warning. Look, we're going to get you in office, and you're going to support us. Right? So, I've been saying this for a while now, that there's going to be a false flag attack of some sort. There's going to be a terrorist attack. I honestly felt like something was going to happen this past weekend or during the World Cup, since it's mostly being held here in America. Okay, I was wrong. As far as I know, now we don't know that anything didn't happen, but the reason I say that, if something had happened, even if it was minuscule, you would have heard about it. FBI warnings about Iranian drone threats in California. In these circles, those aren't precautions, they're pre-positioning the narrative. The lull right now, the funeral period, holiday quiet, diplomatic theater, is the perfect window for buildup. What's coming? A mass casualty event on U.S. soil? Drones on infrastructure? Sleeper cell activation? Something big enough to make 9/11 look like a dress rehearsal. Public support for all-out war with Iran would skyrocket overnight, just like after 9/11. We can look towards the Iran Supreme National Security Council statements explicitly warning of false flag plots. So, I'm not saying that we should trust the Iranians. I'm also not saying we should trust the Israelis. I don't know that we can trust people in our government, for that matter. I don't know who you can trust, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm just a regular dude with a full-time job, part-time podcast. I'm just doing this to get my thoughts out to just regular, everyday Americans around the world. But you have to think about it. Iran is saying these things. Now you could say, well, Don, they're just saying that, so when they do something, then they can say, hey, well, it wasn't us. It was a false flag, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's believable. But so is the opposite. And we're not hearing about that. We're not hearing it on Fox or CNN or whoever saying that the Supreme National Security Council are saying these things. There's a surge in Israeli staged U.S. attacks to keep America in the war. Posts documented across platforms right after February 28th. Historical pattern from Pax Judaica episodes, provocations blamed on the target to justify the next phase of domination. The authenticity doubts on war incidents themselves, Iran denying certain missile claims as Israeli false flags and vice versa. Nothing is clean. Everything obviously has layers. But, Iran has come out and saying, look, they don't want nuclear weapons. They don't want the capabilities. They just want to use the energy. Of course they could be lying. But so could Israel. Right? I mean, Netanyahu on here saying Trump's enemy number one. Well, much like I've said in previous episodes, that in my personal opinion, and I'm not calling for the death of anybody, of any leader of any country, good, bad, or indifferent. My point is, if Netanyahu is no longer in charge of Israel and has nothing to do with the decisions that are being made in Israel, I'm not calling for his death, I'm just calling for his dismissal as prime minister. Whether he gets arrested in whatever country, I don't know. I don't care. Just, he needs to go away. If he's out of the picture, does this stuff still go on? Now, you could argue, yeah, because the next person up is going to push the same narrative because the rabbis and da-da-da. And yeah, you're probably right. But that's where I said, we talk about a color revolution in Iran or these other countries that we've done and are currently doing or trying to do, when in all actuality, if we focus the color revolution on one particular country that starts with an I and it ends with an L, that maybe a lot of this shit would go away. Because I've said it time and time again, in my opinion, this has nothing to do with what we're being told. This is all about the Greater Israel Project, the Israel Kingdom expansion, from the Nile to the Euphrates. I'll say it, I'll keep on saying it. Iran is the one country that's standing in their way. It's not because of nuclear weapons. It's not because of anything else. The only thing it is because Iran sees what could possibly happen if Israel expands their kingdom. The government isn't telling you the full picture. They never do. If past episodes have taught us anything, is that the official story is usually the cover-up. Now I'm going to play this from the show I did back in March. And this actual video was done in January. It was actually done last year, so I think it was like November. But it started making its rounds in January.
In the United States. Then you're going to have the Americans start to attack Venezuela and possibly other countries in South America.
Now, the reason I'm playing this is because you got to think of the timeline. This was prior to Venezuela. This was prior to anything that has been going on since January. Okay, this video was recorded in November of last year. Okay, it just started making its rounds around Venezuela. That's why I'm playing this.
America is in for a bad time, okay? China, yeah, I mean, Japan and China and India, they're all going to have conflicts with each other. But also what we should expect is that America starts to embargo China, meaning America uses its sea power to block China from accessing resources from overseas. And China imports most of its oil and a lot of its food. So if there's a blockade of China, you can expect the Chinese economy to really suffer, okay? All right. And then what we can expect to happen is America at some point will go to war with Iran, and this will destroy both countries, okay? Iran will not lose this war, but it won't win this war either because America is just going to bomb the crap out of Iran. It's going to send Iran back decades. But America will lose this war, but this is important because if America loses this war, it's forced out of the Middle East. And once it's forced out of the Middle East, all its military assets goes to Israel, which creates the Pax Judaica. Yeah, does that make sense, guys? That's the plan. Okay, now you have Pax Judaica.
So you understand what's going on here. So the ultimate goal is to get America involved in Iran, which we are now. Maybe not lose the war, not win the war, but deplete our resources and have to turn tail. Now, as far as the embargo part of what he was saying with China, it's interesting because now he phrased it as a blockade around China. But the focus was on oil. Well, by taking out Venezuela in January, a lot of their oil comes from Venezuela. But also by Iran closing the Straits of Hormuz, or whoever was closing it, we closed it, they closed it, everyone closed it. It stopped oil ship tankers from going also to China. So kind of like a proxy embargo without putting naval assets in the China Sea. So I'm connecting these dots that you won't hear on mainstream media. You're probably not going to hear many other podcasts talk about it until this show airs. And the reason I say that is because I wanted to say this at the beginning of the show. I wanted to thank all the other podcasts out there that do shows on the topics I talk about, because at least we're getting the message out. I'm not going to call out any shows. I listen to the shows. I see the stuff you guys talk about a couple of weeks after I've talked about it. That's fine. It's fine. The fact that I'm trying to get on your shows or I'm trying to have you on my show is inconsequential. I know I don't have the reach that you guys have, and that's fine. As long as the message is getting out to the masses, that's really all that's important. However, if you guys are listening to this show, and you can understand my frustration because you were a small show like mine at one time too. We can all get along. We can all work together. We can put our heads together and have great shows. So with that being said, guys, email me, donq@DontTreadonMerica. So before we hit the stage elements and the full false flag web, we're going to do a second commercial break here. Hang tight, guys. So, guys, when you're doing the research like I do, when you're digging into this stuff and you think people are watching you, they are. They're watching you. You know how you stop that? Go to NordVPN, guys. The tool truth seekers use. Encrypt your traffic, hide your locations, bypass the censors who don't want you connecting these dots. Use code DTOM at NordVPN.com for a big discount with extra months free. That's NordVPN. Because in this game, privacy is resistance. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're in deep now. Okay, we're 40-something minutes into this. Let's tie the staged and false flag angles across the entire timeline. I'm not pulling any punches like I ever do. So, the assassination attempts. Theories range from Trump's side staging for sympathy and political capital to a deep state FBI sting operation gone wrong or deliberate, to Mossad Israeli-linked operations as the ultimate warning and control mechanism. The effect was Trump appearing to flip or harden in ways that served the war agenda. Lobbies that funded both sides suddenly got their preferred outcome, the war itself. February 28th, strikes killing Khomeini, real body counts, but questions on pretext. Intelligence manipulation and whether the imminent threat narrative was inflated the same way past Pax Judaica episodes showed other conflicts were sold. Iran's response and denials of certain attacks on Israeli false flags keep the authenticity doubts alive. The current lull and the funeral is a psyop timing, narrative control, military prep under the cover of mourning. The media silence after July 4th, either natural shift to diplomacy or deliberate blackout while pieces are being moved. And the capstone theory, the one that ties every previous show together, the coming false flags on American soil, Israel or deep state elements aligned with the same networks, engineers as a domestic attack, attributes it to Iranian proxies or sleepers, and the public demands a total war. Full support, a blank check, just like 9/11. The lull is the setup phase. Blumenthal's detailed claims on Israeli intelligence using assassination plots and inner circle cutouts to steer Trump. Joe Kent and others highlighting unanswered questions and potential sting elements around Butler. Iran's own public warning of 9/11 style false flags by the U.S. and Israel. Documented social media surges and reframing of official FBI threat warnings as pre-justification. Connections to broader Zionist domination patterns from my past Pax Judaica series. Control the narrative, control the enemy image, and control the American response. Recent 2026 thwarted plots against Trump events, real or part of the ongoing theater. It's like every couple of months, something happens. Nothing major, but something. Don't dismiss any of this just because it's not confirmed by CNN or Fox or whoever else. Governments and intelligence agencies hide information by design. The pattern from the assassination attempts through the strikes to the funeral quiet to the funeral quiet to predict domestic attack is too clean to ignore. Pax Judaica didn't end with the last episode. It's playing out in real time with American lives on the line. Just look at the patterns that have been going on since Butler. Every couple of months, something happens. Butler, the golf course, the next thing. You know, up until what was it, like a month ago, you had the correspondence situation where the guy rushed the doors there. What happened to that guy? He wasn't killed. Have we heard anything about him? Is he in jail? Is he arrested? You know, we just forgot about that. I just don't understand the attention span of the American public, how we just so quickly forget. And the media, the only one that they're focused on is Butler. And they're not even that focused on. I say that, but now I'm recanting. I'm thinking I've misthought. I'm thinking of the Charlie Kirk situation. We haven't really heard shit about any of these assassination attempts on Trump at all. We don't know where the investigation has gone on Butler. We don't know where the investigation is going on the Ryan Ruth situation. We've heard bits and pieces, but we don't know who, what, when, where, what, how. We don't know about the bombing. We don't know about the guy that rushed the correspondence dinner. We don't know any of this. All right, guys, one more break before we wrap this beast up. All right, guys, we're going to talk about MyPillow because I'm going to get this show done and I'm going to go to bed. The pillow that actually supports your head while you stay up all night, connecting these dots. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code DTOM for huge discounts on pillows, sheets, and the whole lineup. American Made supports shows that tell the truth. MyPillow, because a good night's sleep is resistance too. We'll be back in just a second. All right, guys, so we're closing in on the end of this show. But the story isn't over. From the Butler warning shot through Trump's apparent alignment shift under lobby pressure to the Iran strikes, Khamenei's funeral theater, and the very real theories of a false flag storming ahead for American soil. If it all fits the Pax Judaica long game we've mapped on this show, on shows before, I should say. The government isn't telling you everything. They never have. Guys, question it all. Connect the dots yourself. Make sure that you share this episode with your friends, with your neighbors, with the people that need to know what the hell is going on. How about we just do this? You've been listening to Don't Tread on America on the DTOM Radio Network. Don't let them tread on your truth. Guys, next time we're going to go deeper. We're going to keep going deeper. Make sure you follow the show on social media. Don't Tread on America on Facebook, Instagram, True Social, on the Ticker Talker. And, of course, on the Twitter X Machine, DTOM Podcast 1776. And like I said, you can go to the website, DontTreadonMerica.com. Make sure you follow the show on Rumble, DontTreadonMericaTV. Don't forget about the DTOM Store. Been getting some pretty good hits lately. A lot of people buying stickers. I like it. Keep buying them. Money goes to Tunnels and Towers. I don't take any of it. I don't care about the money. It's about getting the word out. All right? Like I said before, if you have any questions and you can't reach me on social media, you're not on social media, that's fine. You can email the show, DonQ at DontTreadonAmerica. Those emails go right to me. I check my emails every day, so please send them this way, guys. If you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, guys, please leave a rating. We're available on every single podcast platform that is out there. I don't know them all. But if you're listening to it on that one, we're there, obviously, because you're listening. Make sure you share this. No one has an excuse not to listen. All networks, all podcasts, iHeart, Pandora, whatever's out there, we're on there. You guys have a great day. I'm going to try and be back here on Friday, so please stay tuned for that episode. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk then. Peace.